What's up, y'all? The Society back with another video. No, it's been a little minute, but I've been real busy doing stuff, running for office, and other stuff I got going on. So what I'm out here doing today is my 2012 F350 with the 6.7 liter Power Stroke. I am installing the Fass lift pump. Okay, so I bought this system because it'll save my CP4. So this is the box that it came in, and this is the actual filters and the unit itself. But there's quite a few steps that are going to be taken in order to get this pump installed the correct way. So there's a harness. Let me show y'all this. There's a harness. There's hoses. A bunch of fittings, as you can see, the mounting plate and other related hardware. So this is going to be a very involved installation. I have to remove the fuel tank from the truck. So right now I ran my truck until it was just about empty. On the gauge it says 8 miles to empty, so there's literally no fuel in the tank. So it should be about its lightest that it can be. I want to make sure that I put this out there because I looked all over YouTube, you guys, and I do not see the lift pump being installed on the 6.7 in my year range. So this is going to be, I'm going to be going off the downloadable instructions. So we're going to learn this together. So whatever mistakes I make, whatever this thing don't say, because it's always something, hopefully it'll just be a straight install and real easy. But what I'll do is I'll just document what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and I'll upload this video and try to help people that have 11 through 16 Power Stroke, 6.7 Power Stroke. So let's get into it. All right, see y'all in a minute. All I gotta do is hit this 3 times. Hit the gas for him a couple times. Okay, so the first part that you want to do is install the electrical harness. So this is the harness and the relay, and I'm gonna have to strip these wires and get this part installed. So I'm gonna keep cutting to the different things that I'm doing because I don't have anybody out here filming for me, so I'm doing it myself. Okay, so it's just telling me to install the relay cover onto the Fass harness, put the 30 amp fuse in, make sure I use dielectric grease. So now it's running me through how to cut the wires and where to add and all this stuff, and running it up to the battery. So as I get this stuff done, I'll come right back. Okay, so I put dielectric grease on all the connections. As you can see, if you can see me, I put dielectric grease in there. This is the pigtail. I did the same thing to where the fuse go and the same thing to where the relay goes. So you put the dielectric grease on the contacts. Make sure you get a nice little amount in there where the fuse go and where the relay goes. And then this is the relay cover, and you see this little slot at the top. It's to accommodate this tab here. Okay, so basically when you install it onto the harness, it's gonna look like this, and then you just slide this over and push it all the way down until that tab comes through, okay? So like I said, I'm filming by myself, so I'm gonna just push this on there. You gotta kind of wiggle it into place and get it all seated and make sure that tab comes through. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. Okay, so now the cover is on there and you can see the tab has come through the top. Okay, so it's nice and covered. Everything, all the wires are inside. And now I'm gonna lay this harness out and I'm gonna do the splicing and put things in place, okay? So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so now I got it on a tripod and maybe that'll make things a little easier. So now I'm doing the single wire. And in the box, there is a little bag with the single wire and the adder circuit. Okay, so this is going to come in handy in a little bit. So what I need to do is attach these two like this and crimp it. And I'm hoping you guys can see this. I'm thinking you can. Okay. Want to make sure that it's on there nice and tight. Okay, so I've got a good connection there. Okay. And it says using the crimping tool, connect the adder circuit with butt connector, install circuit, install the 46251 adder circuit into the top slot. Now, which one would be the top slot? I'm not really sure, but there is 2 slots. So I'm gonna assume the top one is the one towards the top of, because you have 2. So you got 2 slots right here. Okay, so I'm gonna install this into the top. That's a really good connection right there. So got the adder circuit in and got the fuse in. Kind of walk y'all through what I've been doing. So now I routed the harness. I came under the hood. I put the 2 ring terminals on, the green wire and the red wire. Grip those into place. And I actually removed the negative battery cable off both batteries because you don't want no problems with power. Okay, so as you can see, I disconnected that negative cable and I disconnected this negative cable, even though I have the ring terminal on it. Okay, and then I went into the number 54 slot. You can go into 54 or 55 with the adder circuit. Okay, so I just put it in slot 55, 54, and the rest of the cable is routed down this way and down to the underside of the truck. Okay, so I got this part of the harness I just tucked right down here next to the coolant reservoir. Okay, so it's just tucked down in here. And then the part that needs to go down by where the lift pump is installed, I just routed it right down through there and pushed it down. Once you push it down, you come down here and you can see how the harness is right there. And then from there, it goes under the truck. And I'll show you what I did. I haven't secured anything yet. I'm just showing you guys. I'm sorry, give me a second to get up under here. So it dropped down over by the spring. You can see that. And then I just routed it over this part and along the factory harness. And then there's a little computer here. And I routed it over the computer. And now you just see a bunch of excess wire hanging everywhere. So I'm gonna zip tie all of this up, but the factory lift pump is there, okay? And I think I'm gonna be mounting the Fass lift pump. It doesn't say anything about removing the factory lift pump, but I'm guessing either I'm gonna have to remove that or it's gonna go back further. So once I get there, and that's the little connector right there. This is the part that I dropped down and pulled back, and I just got it sitting there. But you see all this excess wire. So once I use what it is I need to use, then I'll tighten it all up and zip tie it up. So this is where I am right now. I'm finna start unhooking the suction lines and everything off of this factory pump, and I'll be back with y'all when I show y'all what I'm doing. All right. Okay, so now I am draining the remaining fuel out of the factory lift pump at the frame rail. You can see this red piece in between. That comes in the kit. Those are both the factory return lines, and you'll know them because they both have the blue tabs on them. So they were hooked up to this port and this port on the lift pump. Basically, you lift these tabs here, you lift up, and then you press this little button right here, and you pull them off. And to make that connection, they have a red piece that you just snap right into place. It's a push-on connection. And then the supply side is the yellow, and you see I already got the blue fitting in there, and there's going to be a rubber hose that's gonna go on to that that's in the kit. So that's where I am now. So it looks like I won't be actually removing this pump out of the truck. I guess it's not necessary. So they send you caps to cap it off and just leave it here, and then they just have you drain the fuel. So as you can see, it has stopped. So I'm gonna screw this back in. Oh, it just started again. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting all the fuel out of there just to dry it all out. And then what it has you do, it says to cap off the factory electrical connections with the grease that they supply, so no corrosion won't get in there. So I just made sure the electrical connections are covered in that grease for both. So there's grease in there. Got it nice and covered in. And then I'm just gonna zip tie these up out the way when I'm done. So I'm not doing anything with the wires right now until everything is in place, and then I'll zip tie everything up. So looks like this has stopped. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this and seal it up. Okay, so now it's sealed up. Okay, so I've been wiping everything, so I guess this got a little fuel next to where the nipple is, but it is all sealed up. I just want to make sure everything is wiped off. So I wiped off all the ports and the lines and got all the excess fuel out, and there was a little fuel that was, you know, spilling all around this. So I just wiped everything up. Make sure there's no mess. Okay. So now I am fully away from the factory lift pump. So I got the red connector in there. I got the blue connector in there. I'm gonna be dropping my gas tank, my fuel tank in a minute right here. So you got the straps that has a bolt up here. As you can see. Hopefully you can see that. And so you can see clearly where the factory straps are. So this is one strap. There's another strap in the middle, and then there's one on the other end. I'm gonna go let those down. You want to put a jack or something supporting the tank up while you're loosening the straps, and then just let it down slowly. But I still have to unhook the fill tube, so I'm gonna go unhook all that, and I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. All right, y'all, I got the fuel tank out, and I'm sorry I didn't show the process, but it's fairly simple. It's 3 tank straps, and I remove the tube. Some say you don't have to, but I found it easier to just remove the tube. There are 3 of these little screws that'll sit here, here, and here. You just take those out, and the tube is here. So if you're looking at it from the opposite side, this is what you'll see. Okay, so don't try to take it off from the nuts on the back side, because the back side is welded on. Okay, so you have to take it out from the screws from this side, and then you can just push this in. You can push it in and drop it down. Then it's easy to get the hoses off. And then there's a couple of there's a supply and a return side, and an electrical connection, and that's all. Once you take those 2 off in electrical, you can just drop the tank straight out. So not a big deal, but I will go up under there and get a little footage and kind of show you guys what's going on.
It is now.
You ready?
Yep.
As soon as it starts leaking, let me know.
No.
I'm letting the tank down. Let me jack the tank back up.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Nope.
Still here running?
Yeah.
No leak.
No. Hold on.
Definitely ain't leaking up front, so I can sure put this back together.
Okay. Oh, I hear something coming.
Dripping?
Not yet. Yep.
See it?
I don't see exactly where from.
Okay, but did you have the camera up there?
Yeah.
All right, let's play it back and see.
See, whatever it is, it's coming off that driver's side.
I know, but it may just be spraying this way.
Okay.
All right, so as you can see, I have taken off the upper intake over there. This is the lower intake. It's all off. There's a bunch of screws. I wish I could have filmed it all, but without help, it's a little hard to actually try to show all of this. So I apologize for that. But there's a lot of stuff that has to come off of this thing in order to get down here and do this. They said this was about a 2-hour install. Yeah, this is not a 2-hour install. Not for a beginner. So as you can see, I actually am down to the turbo. So the turbo is right there. So if I wanted to actually replace this turbo. I can take those lines off, and then there's a couple in the back, and there you go. But this is the piece that I needed to get to right here. And as you can see, I put this black line on there, and that goes over to the pieces that I installed earlier. But this is the top of the CP4, and that's where you gotta put the little adapter under there and all that. So I got that all hooked up. I actually pressured up the fuel system. Nothing is leaking. I did have a leak under the truck, but only because I put the return side fuel line that you're supposed to hook back up to the tank. I actually hooked up the supply side, which is not hooked up to anything. So when I turned the key to pressure up the system, it pressured up, and once the fuel made it up here and then started to return back to the tank, I had a bunch of spillage underneath the truck. So figured it out pretty fast, unhooked the wrong line, hooked up the right line, turned the key back on, heard it pressure all up, and no leaks. So now I'm about to take all these screws and sensors and, you know, little stuff that I didn't took off, you know, over here and up here, all the screws and everything. Good morning. And I'm gonna put it all back together. Unfortunately, I really can't do any filming because it takes both hands. If you own a Superduty, you see how I'm using this ladder to, you know, get up here and work first? This kills my back because it should be facing the truck instead of to the side. But of course, when you have a stance like that, if I put it up against the truck, I'd be further away. So if you haven't heard of one, you should get one. It's called a topside creeper. Look it up. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I've seen it in a couple of other YouTube videos that I've been watching. That's how I found out about it. So I figured I'd mention it. Topside creeper. And it's got long legs that go under the truck. And you can lean over this entire engine bay and be supported by your torso and have both of your hands clear. So definitely a must-have in my book when it comes to working on these, because they're so high up and things are far back. And if you have a lifted truck, good luck with that. But my truck is not lifted. It is factory height, and I have no issues. It looks like I'm gonna be replacing this little adapter here because a piece of it broke off when I took it off. So I'm gonna run over to the dealer and see if I can grab another one. I hope I don't have to buy this whole piece. But I'm finna put the truck back together. I'm sure that's not gonna make it run any different, but I hate having broken stuff on my stuff. So just figured I'd update you guys. My gas tank is still on a jack. I'm finna go up under here, strap it back down, but I can show you guys what I've done, and hopefully you can see that. This is the lift pump that I installed. Okay, so it's all installed. Everything looks good. Everything is nice and tight. All the lines are in. Nothing is leaking or anything. So I did a good job. Give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Let me know. I ain't done yet though. This video ain't over. See y'all. What's up, everybody? Back again with the 2012 F350. Wanted to give y'all a little peek on what I did as far as bulletproof in the 6.7. Y'all can see I got some something going on right there. I don't really know what. Oh, I guess maybe the battery is leaking a little bit, I guess. Yeah, it looks like it. So it looks like that's something I'll be taking care of soon. But for now, just wanted y'all to know that I did install the SPE reroute kit. Can y'all see that down in there? See the SPE reroute kit with the XO filter. So a couple little pieces down in there. A couple little things I had to do. Had to take off the upper intake as well as the lower intake, and unfortunately when I took it apart, the throttle body stopped working. So I had to replace the throttle body because the motor in it, I don't know, somehow it just went bad. And the Ford dealer told me that they just, you know, when they go out, they just go out. There's really nothing you can do about it. So when I first put it back together, I thought something had went bad. And on the little actuator, there's a connector. See that little brown connector down there, kind of brownish orange type connector down there, hooks onto the actuator. One of the pins inside the harness was loose. So when I put my truck back together, it wasn't running right. I mean, it was giving me codes and stuff. So I knew that it wasn't anything that I did, but of course, when you take your truck apart and it's running, and then you put it back together and it's not running, it's kind of hard to believe that it's not something that you did. So after putting everything back together, doing both jobs, I'm sorry, I didn't even tell y'all about the second job. So I also installed a Fass lift pump, which, you know, requires you to drop the tank and run a bunch of lines and do all the stuff that needs to be done. And, you know, they advertise this as being a 2 or 3 hour job and stuff like that, but that's only if you've done this before. So if you're thinking about doing this, I would say give yourself a couple of days. And the only reason I say that is because if you don't have someone actually walking you through the whole thing, which I didn't, I scoured YouTube. Destiny, get back here. Sorry, y'all, that's my dog. But yeah, if you don't actually have someone walking you through how to take things apart, you know, without breaking them, and how to do the job in its entirety, which I didn't have that. So I kind of had to feel my way around. I had to look at certain videos to deal with certain things, and so it took me longer. So if you've never done this, and I am mechanically inclined, I work on my own Chrysler, I work on my wife's Cadillac, I work on my van down the street, I built my Mustang that's in the garage, and I work on my Mercedes. And trust me, I know how to work on cars. I have the right tools to do the job the right way. So it has nothing to do with not having the right tools or the mechanical know-how. On my F-350, I've already pulled the axles, drained the fluid, replaced the seals and the brakes, the emergency brakes, the rotors back here. And I've done quite a few things. I installed my own radios and different little systems and everything. So I'm well aware of how to work on a vehicle. I would say give yourself at least 2 days. I have to be honest. It took me my truck was down for about 6 days because of just me taking a long time to do things and find videos, and it didn't take me 6 days to do the actual work, but just going around. I had messed up my fuel sending unit I had cut the wrong hose and ended up having to go buy hose and just all kind of stuff. So this is, I would say, about a 2-day job for someone who's never done it before. Maybe 3, because I did about a 3-day job for me. Now, if you guys have done this before, have seen someone do it before, then it wouldn't be that big a deal. So I also installed a Fass lift pump. Okay, so I bypassed the factory lift pump, which is the one, if you've ever changed your fuel filters, that one over there. Okay. So there's nothing hooked up to that anymore. So it's a complete bypass. They do have lift pumps where you can actually feed this pump, which I just wouldn't do. But that's a choice you can make. I installed the Fass lift pump, and as you can see, that big hose is running to the fuel tank, as well as this long one that runs over to the same fittings where the old lift pump was. So the high pressure line that went to the old lift pump is now the return line for the Fass lift pump, and the suction tube, the suction pump, the high pressure one, you actually plumb it yourself. Okay, so hopefully that makes a little sense to you. But it's a, for the most part, it's a plug and play system. You don't have to cut any lines or any factory equipment on your truck. You just have to run your own electrical. So as you see, this one here, this one that I'm touching here, this electrical right here, this one, it runs all the way to the battery under the hood. So you have to route that. There's a couple of things you have to do at the battery, and then route that wire all the way back here to the power on the lift pump. So I'll try to get you up in there, but that little connector right there, so it runs all the way to the front. There's a couple of fuses and a relay and some stuff you got to run, but you also have to drop the tank. So I had to drop the tank. I drove this truck until the thing said, to the display said I was 8 miles to empty. So when I dropped it, there was still residual fuel in the lines, but practically nothing in the tank, and it allowed me to maneuver that tank a lot easier when I was letting it down and everything. So dragging it out and working on it and drilling a hole into the fuel sending unit and doing all that stuff. But the truck runs good. Some people want to know what it sounds like. I'm gonna remote start it, so you'll hear the pump come on first, and then you'll hear the truck start. So I'm actually putting you right down here to where it is. Oh, I gotta close my hood first. I'm sorry, you guys. My dogs are acting a fool. Come here. Both of y'all, come here now. Come here. Come here. Get out the street. See, they know they ain't supposed to do that. But see, I was under my truck and I wasn't paying attention. Come here, Sammy, now. Get over here. Y'all going in the house because you don't listen. Hurry up. Stop dragging your feet. Let's go. See, this is what he do when he know it's time to go in the house. He start, now all of a sudden he can't walk fast now. Hurry up. I'm not playing with you. Get in there. Go. I should kick you in your ass because you brain dead. Go. Don't play with me. Ain't no sitting down. You in the house for the rest of the day. You too. Go. I'm not playing with y'all. Let's go. Y'all messing up my video. You ain't gonna see outside for 6 more months. They know damn well they gonna see outside tomorrow. That's probably why they do it. But anyway, when you run the wiring, and I know I was just gonna close the hood, but since I'm here, so you got a couple of ring terminals you have to crimp on to the wires. So the green one goes to negative, the red one goes to positive, and then I just dropped everything right here between the battery, or should I say the coolant bottle, and the fuse box. So I got a bunch of wires tucked down in here, just pushed them down in there. And then the relay is right there. And I have it zip tied to this electrical here because they want it to be upright. Okay, so here's the little tab that's on it. So I zip tied it to this so it would stay upright, and that would keep moisture out, because this is a boot that actually goes over it. Okay, some of this I did record, but a whole bunch of it I didn't, unfortunately. But so that was the electrical portion. And then what I did was I just dropped it all down. The part that goes to the back, I dropped it down in there, down to the ground. And then I started routing it once I was under the truck along the frame rail and everything. So that part, you know, when you get down there, you'll see what it is you need to do. I just kind of ran mine along the factory harness, and then in some spots I made my own connection points. So taking off this upper intake, when you don't know what you're doing and you have to constantly go back and forth to see what actually needs to be unhooked, that's kind of one of the things that it took me so long. So out the gate, take off the factory air box. Okay, you don't have to take off the bottom part, but the top part has to go. So you unhook your mass air sensor, and then you undo these four clips, and take off loosen this so you can get it out. Okay, this will come up. You unhook, you take these out of their little holders. You just kind of slip it out like that, and then you take this out, pop that up. You can unhook this by squeezing this. Okay, and you just separate the two pieces, and then there's a little screw right here. Take that out, and that's gonna loosen this to where you can take it out. So for this to come out, there's a hose clamp. Let's see, right here in the back, and this is the one actually. Oh, I need to tighten that up. Glad I see that. But that's a hose clamp that goes to the lower intake. And then once you do what I just said, you could pull this, and then you can jimmy this right out of the way. Okay, once you got these out the way, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's one here. Then there's another one here. Then there's another one here. And then you have one here. And then back here, you have a couple, 2 or 3 of them. And then down in here, you have more. So you got to work your way around. You can see those ones in the back. And you need like a little, I call them warblers. I don't know why I call them warblers. I think I heard somebody call them warblers, and I call them warblers. But you know, the little the sockets with the swivel heads. So you kind of gotta, you know, get down in there, because it's really tight back there, but with the right tools you can knock them right out. And then same back here for the little screw here that holds these, that one there. And then you have a few more back there, and once you get back there, you can see them. So you just work those out. They're all 8mm, and you can take it right out. This cold air side, you want to take this, you want to undo the little, pop this little clip up and pull this hose off. And then if you just really want to make room, you can undo this one and just pull this little section out right here. And once you pop off that upper intake, then you have 3 screws to pop off that lower intake. 3 long screws, and they're kind of easy access. They're kind of right up in the front, no big deal. They're on this side over here. You have 1 there, and then 2 over on this side. You'll have to remove this little pipe here. You have to remove that one, and then you'll once you pull that upper intake, I mean the lower intake off, then you'll have action at the CP4. So, and the turbo. So you'll see the turbo and the CP4 sitting there. So it takes a little bit. If somebody could have walked me through this, I could have did this a lot faster if there was some good instructions out there. But unfortunately, there is not, at least for my model year. But let me go ahead and close this down. And I'll do the remote start for you guys and let y'all hear the motor. Or actually, I'll just turn the key so you can hear it. Can you guys hear this? That's what you hear. Now when you start it up, and mind you, this is not very loud. It's only because I'm actually putting you guys down here, but I'll start it up. So, as you can hear, you can't even hear the thing running. You can only hear it running when the truck is off and the key is on. Other than that, you don't even know it's there. I tucked it up nice and neat, nice and high where you wouldn't see it dangling underneath. And thing works great. So I'll give you guys, just an idea. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remote start it. So you hear it running. They call that the whisper technology. So, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wish I could have shared the whole thing, but because it took so long to do this and I didn't have anybody shooting, I started out shooting. I will include that video. At this point, you've seen it already, but I did it all by myself. I let the tank down, put it all back up all by myself. I had no help at all. So if you have help, you can make this job go a lot faster, because you got to figure clean up and break down and getting up and grabbing tools and no assistant and all that stuff. So if you have a shop and a lift, I actually did it in my garage. I took my trailer there and put it across the street, and I just pulled it up in the driveway and I just kind of went to work. And that's usually what I do. So without anybody helping, you can make this a considerably shorter job if you got somebody that'll come over and spend the time with you and do what needs to be done. So total out of pocket for me, aside from the cost of the pump and the kit themselves, labor wise, $233. And that was because when I put the intake back together, or when I put the intake back on and started the truck, it just wasn't running right. It was literally running with very little power. And I didn't know what had happened. I knew it wasn't what I had did, because all I did was mess with the fuel system, and that wouldn't stop the truck from running unless I had a pinched hose or something routed wrong. And I looked over the instructions real good. I actually double and triple check everything when I'm dealing with anything fuel related, because it's it's a high probability that something can go drastically wrong when you're dealing with the fuel system. Okay, so I always double and triple check my work, and I knew I didn't have anything loose. I knew I didn't have anything routed wrong. So I was very confident in what I had, the work that I performed. So I actually called a tow truck. I didn't want to mess my truck up. I didn't want to take no chances. I'm not real good at diagnosing problems, but I learn every time I pay to have someone diagnose it. So in this case, it was my throttle body. So it just went bad. It just took a crap when I took it off. So I didn't do anything to it. All I did was unhook the hose from it and unhook the connector, and I guess that was enough to, I guess maybe it was going to go out soon, and I probably was going to have that problem anyway, but it presented itself, and I'm just glad it presented itself in my driveway. So that's kind of the best way to do it. So I just called AAA, and they came and picked up the truck. I followed them to the shop around the corner. They had it a couple of days. They actually had it over the weekend, but they had it fixed within an hour or so after once they pulled it into the bay. They had a county truck in there, and they took the throttle body off of it. They checked all my work, and they didn't see anything wrong. And my throttle body, the actuator, when you let it run and then you cut it back off, you just hear it going on and off, flip, flop, flip, flop, flip, flop, and it'll do that like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 times, and then it'll cut off. So he said when he heard that, he knew something was wrong. So he yanked it off, went to the other truck that was out in the lot that had been in a lot for about 4 months, and he just yanked the throttle body off of it, threw it on mine, fired up fine, no problem. I was getting all kind of codes for the mass air sensor, for the map sensor. He told me afterwards, because I drove it in the condition that it was dumping fuel into my exhaust system. And don't think I just had fuel pouring out the exhaust, but when he went up in there was fuel in the exhaust system. So as soon as he put that on there, ran fine. So I had to wait because I ordered the part. I asked them, could they just let me have the one that they had just put on there? Of course, I knew that would have been wrong, but didn't hurt to ask anyway. So I bought the part. The Ford dealer was trying to charge me $800, $795 for the throttle body, and another $274 for the map sensor. I'm like, are you kidding me? I went to LKQ, y'all. I called LKQ. They gave me a used throttle body from a Ford truck, same make model as mine, and I got it for $95. And if a new one costs $800, I feel really comfortable paying $95 for another factory unit. And like they said, well, what if it go out? It takes 15 minutes to put that thing on. I'll buy another one. I'll buy 6 of them from LKQ. Trust me, it'll outlast one that costs $800. So I did that. That way I'll keep Ford factory parts. And then I found my map sensor is fine. He just said the readings were low, but the truck runs really, really good. So I'll probably order one online and get one for way less than $274. So, be smart about your purchases. You don't have to buy from the dealer in order to get factory parts. All right. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions whatsoever, I can't really, some of the stuff is the same when you go up past 2016, as far as, what do you call that? Drilling a hole into the sending unit and so on and so forth. But some of the stuff that you need to do may be slightly different because there's slightly different things on the truck. I'm not really sure. But this is for the 2011 through 2006 F350 with the 6.7. Bulletproof the motor. Put the Fass lift pump in there. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, what made me do this is listening to you guys. There was one guy that said, let me make sure this thing is still recording. Okay. There was one guy that said, if you own a 6.7 and you don't have a disaster prevention kit on your truck, you're an idiot. And so, of course, I start Googling. I start asking questions and all that. And then when I realized that the CP4 could literally take out your whole fuel system. I'm not rich, guys. I could do a lot of work. I could save myself a load on labor. But if you have to replace your whole fuel system, your rails, your injectors, your lines, your cooler, drop the tank, clean it out, do all that stuff. And if you got it like that and you don't mind paying, somewhere between $9 and $12 to replace your entire fuel system, I say go for it. Because, hey, if money is not an option, who cares? For me, it's an option. And I don't have 11 grand to throw at a fuel system job when I could have spent just a few $100 to put the things in place that would keep that from happening. So I got to a point where I got scared. I started driving my truck and it was just on my mind every day. So I figured that small investment was worth it. I was told that you would start feeling idle quality issues, like you'd feel a miss here and there, and that's the air getting into the fuel, and it's not primed all the way to the top, and all of that. So when they told me the deficiencies of the factory lift pump, And I looked at some videos on the Fass lift pump. That's what made me go ahead and just dive in and go on and do it. Now I did it. I have zero idle quality issues, zero. And I am happy with the install. Now when I start it up, there's no miss. There's no, because it was going, it would idle, and it would only do that every so often. But I was told that that's what you would start feeling once you start getting that irregular spray pattern from air getting into the system, and this water separator is just not as good. So on here I got a premium water separator, premium prime, an even spray pattern. I'm gonna let this run for you guys again. You tell me what you think about the idle quality. This thing don't miss at all, and I assure you, it had a miss. I love that. I love the sound of that diesel. I love it. Nice and smooth. I feel absolutely nothing inside other than that engine purring like it's supposed to. So now I feel really, really comfortable driving my car. I mean, driving my truck anywhere. And what's good is you can actually unhook the factory lift pump. You can actually unhook it and take it out. I just left it in there. You know, let's just say my Fass lift pump takes a dump on me. I don't know. You know, it can, it can't. Because my factory lift pump is down there, hey, it would be nothing but to grab some hose and run it back over to the factory lift pump. I know which lines are what, so making everything work to where it can get me home or get me to a place where I can get things sorted out, I could do that. So that's probably one thing that I will do is just take the precautions to go ahead and buy the hoses and the adapters to hook that factory lift pump right back up, just in case things, you know, just in case something goes wrong. I don't anticipate that, but hey, what does it cost to have a few feet of line or a couple feet of line and some connectors just in case, and just be ready to go just in case something goes wrong, you know. But anyway, hope you guys like this video. Hopefully it was helpful. And if you have any questions, give your boy a thumbs up, drop it in the comments, make contact with me. I answer back. All right, you guys.